Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnet Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet Dale. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers.
It's us.
It's us. It's a podcast. We talk about stuff what we have consumed media-wise in the week.
Nom nom nom.
And do
media.
little sillies and such.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm a sleepy little bean.
I'm a full of food little bean. I've had enough dinner that I'm like, post-food nap required.
And now, flollop.
Flollop. No, we mustn't flollop. There are words to do before we flollop.
Okay, now sit and words and then flollop.
Okay.
Yeah.
What have you been playing this week?
This fortnight.
This is a couple of weeks, yes.
It's been a while. Well, I played Hop Havoc, a game I made.
Yeah, I also played Hop Havoc, a game you made.
Yeah, it's a endless hopper game, I think I described it as. You are Timothy S. Frog, who is hopping across the pond. As you land on a lily pad, a new one will appear in one of the 4 cardinal directions, and you've got to point yourself in that direction and hit the jump button.
And it gets a little faster each time.
A little tiny bit faster each time.
At the start, you've got sort of enough room to, like, the new lily pad shows up and you can, like, look at it, press the direction and jump, and then it starts getting to where you've got to, like, react instinctively, but you've still got a second to, like, course correct before you jump if you need to.
Yeah, and I find with that, like, the thing that makes all the difference is the fact that you don't automatically jump in the direction.
Yeah.
You have to press the jump button once you've selected the direction.
Yeah.
So the number of times that I've panicked and, like, hit the wrong thing and then immediately managed to correct just in time to get it right.
And then it starts getting to the point of you realistically need to hit and jump pretty straight away. No time for course correcting, just go.
Yeah.
And you got a few lives. A high score chase.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
And that's another game I made in Pico 8. It's available on the Lex Lawful BBS website. You can basically play anything in your browser from Pico 8.
Ooh.
And the controls are generally up, down, left, right, Z and X.
Hell yeah.
Unless it requires you to use both controls, in which case there are other controls, and I can't remember them off the top of the head. Like, there's a flight sim on there, like a pretty decent flight simulator that requires, like, both controllers, which I guess makes sense. You can't really do his 2 buttons and 4 directions.
Yeah.
Hope for the best, and manage a flight simulator. But yeah, there's some very cool stuff on there, and there's things I've made as well.
Yeah, those are some of the cool things on there, the things you made.
Yeah, so
Number go up.
You can play Number Go Up, you can play Hop Havoc.
Yeah.
And check it out. Things to play. I had fun with this. It was it was a thing I ended up making while trying to make something else. I was like, well, I need some time away from that. This project that I thought was going to be really easy really isn't, and I need to work something out for restarting that. But yeah, I'm very much enjoying Hop Havoc. It's a fun little game.
It's a charming little game,
It is. Yeah. What you do? What have you done?
The big one I've done since we last recorded is I have done the first campaign of Bridge Command.
You have.
I have.
And you can only talk about so much of that.
Yes, I've been working on a written review of it and working out where the line is of how much I can say to give, like, tangible examples of why I think it's really interesting without giving any kind of spoilers about it has been a unique challenge.
I imagine so. I've recently been watching a creator on TikTok talking about their experience of watching the Magnus Archives, or listening to the Magnus Archives for the first time. And every time they need to sort of talk about something vaguely spooky, without spoiling the actual Magnus Archives, was just, it's always, it turns into Spiders guy. And the guy turned into spiders. Well, maybe this is the first example of guy who turned into spiders. But unless it was connected to other case of people turning into spiders.
I see what they're getting at,
So, maybe you can come up with some sort of analogue of guy who turns into spiders, but for the
UCN. I've been running my review past other people who've done the campaign to go, do you think I walk the line all right? The thing I've been doing in my head as my, like, litmus test is, in universe, if a higher-up member of the UCN were to see what I had published, would they go, oh, you've ruined classified.
You'll be dragged up.
You've
before
leaked
you see
classified
intelligence.
intel. You're going to get demoted just like Freddy. You have to try and get back. I'm like, would I get in trouble within the UCN for having talked about this element of the classified mission I went on? And that, I think, has been a pretty good guidepost.
Well, you've read my intelligence locked
Your mission log
Mission
for that
logs?
one very classified
for that
mission
one
you went.
extraordinarily classified mission.
Yeah.
The word redacted appear in square brackets appears a lot.
I've tried to work out how to talk about this campaign without just saying the word redacted a bunch. So here is what I will say. I did the first campaign of Bridge Command in about 50 hours, in slightly over 2 days, starting Friday evening and ending Sunday evening of a weekend. And it was an absolutely fantastic experience. Now, whether I would recommend people do it in that condensed time frame, hard to say without having done a campaign paced out weekly like most people do them. It is slightly more expensive to wedge it into a weekend, but undeniably, there were some really good opportunities to tweak bits of the narrative to add additional frantic pacing that wouldn't have otherwise existed. And I can definitely see how, if you were doing this weekly, what tweaks they would have made to make that pacing still make sense. But it was really cool having moments of, like, you finish a mission and you're in the debrief and they're like, this is going to happen and we need X amount of time to be prepared. Report back here in 20 hours and we're gonna continue. We're gonna get back on this. And, like, having that sort of immediacy was pretty nice. I wouldn't recommend trying to do the campaign in a shorter time period than we did.
Yes,
I
I
think-
think theoretically you could do it all in the same day, but I think you would have a terrible time.
I think the technically 3 days, the Friday night to Sunday night we did was pretty perfect. I think you could take it down to 2 days, like a day of 3 and a day of 2, and that'd be pretty okay. I think 1 day would be far too little.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I think it really benefits from is, unlike doing 5 individual missions, there is a lot of creative opportunities for things to spill out of the missions themselves. Be that just having time to decompress revelations that have happened, or time to theory craft, or time to dig into things that, like, aren't necessarily spelled out that you might want to have time to play around
Or
with.
time to ask the staff.
Time to go ask staff questions that might go, oh, I'm having a thought. Does this make sense, person at Bridge Command?
Yeah.
Because, like, I think the Saturday for us, where we had, like, one mission in the early afternoon and one in the evening, was pretty perfect in that it gave us time immediately after a mission to go through all our thoughts, to do all the stuff we wanted to do, to hang around at Bridge Command, like, working as a group together.
Yes, because I was with you most of that day. We both turned up at like 11 in the morning. My first mission wasn't until like nearly 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was you and the rest of the Takanami Turtles went in for your, I think might have been like a 1:45 or or a 11:45. You went in, you did your mission. I hung around in the bar and read all the logs because the screens were out, so I had a chance to do that. I had a few chats with various members of the staff. You came out of that mission, most of you brandishing handfuls of paper, and you squirreled yourselves away on this one table and kind of stayed there for most of the rest of the day.
There was at least 2 hours where most of our campaign group sat at that table having a lot of discussions as a group.
There were a few. I think you went on another mission that afternoon.
Yeah.
And then sort of returned to that spot, continuing to look things
Yeah.
over. I think my last mission was at 3:45, so I came out of that sometime around 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And there were still a few of you left, and there's just like piles of paper on the table. And somebody from another crew was just hanging out and crocheting for a bit.
Yeah.
And most of the others had gone to dinner, but and rather conveniently, the staff at the front had basically just put their uniforms on hangers for them so they could go out and be civilians in London for a bit.
Yeah. Because, like, we did on the Sunday, we did our final 2 campaign missions back to back.
Yeah.
And I think not having, like a decent breather between the two of them. There was something to be said for like the drama of like ramping into the finale and like not slowing that pacing. But realistically, I think we needed time to at the very least like decompress between missions.
Yes.
Like I think if you're gonna do it over a weekend, try and put a couple of hours gap between each of your campaign sessions if you can. But outside of those thoughts about like the way that we specifically did that campaign, and this is where I get into like trying to find creative ways to spoiler light talk about things. I think the fact that you are a group of people who already know Bridge Command and already know how your positions on the ship function going into it allowed them to obviously not have to explain at the start of every mission, everyone comes in, you tutorialize everyone's positions, you do the teaching around
saving yourself about
the
45 minutes.
And this is the thing, is it saves time, and it's not just that your mission design can be a bit longer because of that, but they are very clearly thinking about what kind of missions can we design that take unique advantage of both the extra time that allows by not having to bring you in and tutorialize you the ship, but also, can we do anything unique because the mission doesn't have to start with a tutorial?
Yeah.
And I think the spoiler light example I would use for this is, usually when you do a regular public mission of Bridge Command, you have the briefing of what the mission's going to be, and there is, by necessity, you can't have urgency going from the mission briefing into the mission.
No.
Because of that tutorial.
Which is why you have that the training period of like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Going around everyone who hasn't already been trained, because they will usually be like, yes, you've been before.
Yeah.
Do you know the position you're currently sitting at?
Cool.
If you do, then I will just skip past that and we'll move straight on and we'll have more mission.
But like, here, I think it's spoiler light enough to say they have the opportunity to be like, you're in the briefing room and it's like, you gotta get on that ship and you gotta go now and have that dramatic pacing not get interrupted.
Yes.
But I also think that aspect leads to something else that is more about the internal experience you end up having here, which is, because of that tutorial that happens in public missions, it always feels like there is a degree of, you are relatively fresh recruits being sent out.
Yes.
Whereas being on a campaign where, to a certain degree, you might just be told, okay, briefing done, go to the ship, go do it. It does give you more of a sense as a crew of, we are being trusted as an experienced crew trusted with command of this ship, in a way that, does narratively make it feel more consistently like, yeah, we are a known crew. You might trust us with this starship and this important mission. And, that aspect of it is a really nice thing that's hard to quantify, but it does have a tangible effect on how it feels playing those missions. Yeah. Obviously, there are set-piece encounters that they're able to do with a campaign that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. And the way I will metaphorically discuss the scope of those is, for anyone who watches enough, very long-running anime like Naruto or something, and sometimes you'll get to, a particularly important fight, and you'll go, they changed the animation company for this fight, ooh, we're in for something a bit special. Right. It's, the frame rate stepped up, what are we doing here? Some of the missions in the campaign have that quality, where it feels like when between seasons of Star Trek, it's like, oh, we're getting a movie for this, to finish off this storyline. Right. There's a few things that feel more like event episodes than your Creature of the Week episodes. And again, that slightly increased length gives you that feeling of when you're watching a season finale.
Yeah, I saw somewhere someone talking about it as opposed to the more standalone, you could watch it in any order, it doesn't really matter moments, versus the sort of linchpin episodes of, actually, this is going to be a permanent thing that is going to have consequences going forward.
It felt sort of like the difference between jumping on the first Weeping Angels episode of Doctor Who that's that's just a standalone bit of story happening there.
With a really well-designed villain.
Yeah, versus jumping into any Doctor Who season finale where it's oh, this has been building up and this is a set. This is like an episode you physically could not skip and still.
These are the hints they've been dropping for the last 2 seasons.
And I think that's a good balance. Again, without going into specifics of what they do with it, they have some very creative ideas for what to do with the set that they have that you couldn't. You functionally couldn't do even just with the conceit of we have to bring you onto the ship and guide you through the ship and tutorialize you on the ship. That inherently limits some of the things you could do with Bridge Command. And they play around with that a bit.
Yes. Things involving actual mechanics and the functions of various things and facilities within the ship.
Tangible aspects of that set that I had not registered, which was pretty cool. They also, I think, correctly lean into the idea that some of the most memorable Bridge Command public missions are the ones with really memorable NPC interactions with, like, non-UCN characters you meet up with.
Yeah.
And they lean heavier into that. You get... I think this is spoiler light enough to say there might be briefings with a few more people in than you're used to. You might get opportunities to have more than one character on your ship at a time, which usually doesn't happen in public missions.
Yes.
You have more of these things that just lean into, we already know what people like about Bridge Command. We're just going to lean a little heavier into that because this is a special occasion.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really, really enjoyed that campaign. I'm very much looking forward to us doing a campaign together in the coming weeks. I think maybe the biggest bit of praise I can give the campaign, and also the biggest thing I would say to be cautious of, is they have some incredibly talented performers at Bridge Command. And I want to preface this. At no point was I ever not aware that it was pretend, you know. I was always aware this is actors doing a thing and we are playing a story. Much like when you get into a really good D&D session and, like, you are playing your character very emotionally strongly.
You just get a little lost in the sauce.
You get a little lost in the sauce. Their performers are very good at going, yeah, I know this isn't real, but I'm gonna act as if this is real to a point that, like, it's gonna be hard for your body not to react with, I'm having the physiological responses of if this was real. And that is, I think, like, a hugely impressive feat. The skill with which they got us to buy into the narrative of that campaign, and to buy into... To not think about the fact it was pretend at its peak of its moments, and to buy into the stakes of what was going on. Incredibly impressive, incredibly hard to pull off, and I think they did it amazingly. I did leave at least one or two of those missions and need to just have, like, a debrief with everyone afterwards. We needed to have our, like, everyone okay? Everyone had a moment to just catch a breath and return to a resting position.
Yes, lots of people went off and just had a quiet moment.
Yeah, there was...
You briefly designated the shuttle as a quiet space for people.
Yeah. There was one mission in particular that one of I would say top 2 most memorable missions in that campaign. The stakes got high enough and were so well performed. It was hard to have that moment of take a step back and remember this isn't real, because the stakes were there.
You were all in it.
We were all in.
Right in there.
And again, I am damn impressed how good a set of performers they have for selling shit like that. Yeah. Bravo. Bridge Command campaign. If you are someone who is likely to pay to go to 5 Bridge Command missions, and you can find a group of 9 other people that want to do a campaign, do a campaign.
Yeah, that is currently my thoughts for maybe in the next couple of months, see if I can get a crew together, and maybe do, like, a mission a week.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 missions a week, depending on how everyone is doing and how I'm fixed on the other campaign I'm doing by then. But, yeah, I think that just generally does make more sense to...
yeah. It really does feel like they pull out the stops to go, if you've committed to this, we're gonna make it a thing to remember. And bravo, they pulled it off.
Oh, yes.
What about you? What else have you been playing?
I have added more things to my list of addictive games to play.
I've been playing at least one of them that you also have.
I have been playing Raccoin.
Yeah, we've both been playing Raccoin, which
Yeah?
is
How much Raccoin have you played?
a good amount of Raccoin.
Yeah, have you unlocked everything yet?
I've unlocked all the characters, I believe, currently
I've
that are in the
unlocked
demo.
all the characters, all the coins except the popcorn coin, and all of the items, and all the cards.
I don't know how to check whether I've unlocked all those things, but I've definitely
there's an
played a good...
encyclopedia.
I didn't check the encyclopedia, but I have played... I've played more than I'd like to admit.
Yeah, I keep thinking, well, it's just like a playtest demo. There's not really much to experience.
It's a pretty
here.
robust playtest
But
demo.
the number of times that I'm just like, oh, that was 20 minutes gone.
So what is Raccoin?
What if a coin pusher had, like... I know they call it a roguelike, but it shares it shares things with roguelikes, but not with rogue.
Yeah,
even slightly.
I was gonna say I would almost call it a coin pusher deck builder. Like, not technically, but like the vibes are very deck builder.
In the sense that you are putting customized coins into the coin pusher that will have different effects and they interact with each other, and there are certain things that might happen that would put negative, like turtles. I think turtles comes up automatically in round 2, and they're just like 5 turtles are dropped into the machine. And you have to get rid of them as fast as possible because it makes it much more difficult to get bonus spins. I think it's something like 4 times harder to get bonus spins.
Yeah.
If you've got turtles in the machine. So you can either do your best to push them quickly off of the platform entirely, or if you have the right setup, you can add wolves into the mix and the wolves will eat the turtles. But they will also eat the rabbits and the chickens. Because that's just how they be. Yeah, and then there's this whole aspect of, you can have up to 5 special items that will do things like they might make every 5th coin a different colour, like a more valuable one. They might have a thing that makes more valuable coins appear a percentage higher, depending on how many have already been made into the higher value coins.
There's one that I like where I think it's every 30 coins you push out onto the board, you can give the coin pusher a good old shake.
Good nudge, yeah. That is a good one, but if you run out of auto refills, it can get quite difficult.
Yes,
because you then have to repopulate the board.
Yes, every round, if your board is ever a certain percentage empty, it'll automatically chuck some low-level stuff into...
But it will only do that 10 times throughout the run?
Yeah, throughout the round.
Throughout the run?
I believe it's throughout the round.
Oh, I've got to a point in a run where they've just run out, and I'm not getting any more refills.
I have had that happen, but I was pretty certain it was because I used at least 10 in one round. I might be wrong. But yeah, for what seems initially like a very simple concept, the first couple of rounds I had a bit of a... I'm not sure how much strategy there is to this. Very quickly, it's oh no, there is a lot of forward planning strategy available.
Yes, to a degree. And there is also a decent amount of randomness. There's a wheel I mentioned that you can spin that has a question mark on it, which reveals an entirely different wheel.
Yes.
Yeah, you can get lots of cool effects. At the moment, it is locked to 10-round games. I am genuinely curious what would happen in longer round games.
Agreed.
Because it feels like there are things set up that you can kind of see on bits of the display.
Yeah.
That imply that interesting things happen after round 10.
Agreed.
But we currently have no release date on this, no further information about what progress is. Just here's a teaser. Enjoy.
It's very satisfying though. The feedback is very very Moorish.
I've seen people getting those Balatro level scores of 69.420E.
Yeah, I've had a couple of times where so many coins have suddenly happened that it's looked almost like the coin pusher is overflowing.
Yes.
And that's very satisfying.
Someone's just lobbed an entire bucket of coins in.
Yeah!
It's, it can get pretty wild.
I quite enjoy, there's the UFO thing, where when you sell items enough times, the UFO thing kicks off, that I've been very much enjoying.
Mm.
There's some very cool things available.
Yes, there are some very cool effects, and it's a real dopamine factory.
That it be.
What else have you been playing?
I've been playing a new thing published by Poncle, the Vampire Survivors people, not developed by them, called, let me get the name of this right.
Kill the Brickman!
I believe that's the name, I just wanted to check. Yeah, Kill the Brickman. This is a Brick Breaker style roguelike kind of,
with Russian roulette vibes.
yeah, so there's a whole bunch of bricks at the top of the screen, and you're trying to kill a certain number of bricks with faces on up on that grid. And some of the bricks do other effects, like maybe they'll teleport you around or do other things, but generally, you're trying to kill a certain number of bricks that have faces on by using a gun you load with ammunition, and the bullets you put in the gun do different things, but also which gun you load the bullets into does different things. Because, like, there are guns that will be like, oh, if you load this 3-cylinder gun with 2 matching colour bullets on the outside holes and a different colour bullet in the middle hole, it'll, like, you've laid the bullets out in that gun correctly to activate a bonus, and now your bullets, on top of their regular effects, will do something else. So you're, like, trying to purchase colours of bullets and types of bullets between rounds that will, in a deck builder style, allow you to be drawing the right kind of bullets with the right kind of frequency to load into guns that will give you the right benefits, to get the right kinds of bullets to bounce around, killing all of these human-faced squares.
Yes.
It is a weird thing to explain.
It is a weird thing to explain. It's a weird thing to look at.
Yeah.
Because you shoot the bricks and they seem to cry. But
Yeah.
I haven't noticed any of them dying yet.
You can kill them.
I assume so.
Yeah. They're trying to kill you as well, if you don't...
okay.
If you don't...
I mean, that seems fair.
Yeah, every round or so, like, a certain number of the Brickmen will start coming to try and attack you, which will change which ones you end up prioritizing attacking.
Oh no, Brickman!
Yeah, I've not put enough time... It's not gripped me as instantly as Raccoin did. Raccoin is pretty great, and I think if Kill the Brickman had come out any other week, it probably would have, like, been the thing that got its talons in me. But honestly, of the two, Raccoin just... It was giving the dopamine much better.
Oh, yes.
Like, I think there is some interesting strategy and depth to Kill the Brickman. It's just not instantly giving me that, like, Vampire Survivors style, everything is happening and I feel amazing quality.
Yeah, although interestingly with Raccoin, like, it took a little while to really get its hook in me. Because I played, like, the first run, which is the tutorial, then I failed to complete the first run with the manager, which is the first character you unlock.
Yeah.
And then, but I did manage to unlock the rabbit.
Yeah.
So I did a run with the rabbit all the way through, completed that, no problem, and I went, well, I think I've seen most of what this has. I didn't automatically uninstall it, which is usually what happens with demos like that. It's like, nope, I've seen it, I've added it to my wish list, we'll see how it goes. Like, literally the next day, I was like, I've got 20 minutes, I could have a little go on this, like an hour and a bit later. I've done another huge chunk of this, and then, like, last night after I finished editing AA, I did a bit more, to the point where I've now unlocked everything except one coin, the popcorn coin, which I couldn't have unlocked previously, because I've only just unlocked corn, which I assume is somehow an ingredient in popcorn.
So, the thing I think that, like, comparing these two games, that I keep thinking about Kill the Brickman, I'm trying to work out, like, what is it missing that would get the dopamine firing the way that I was hoping for? And I think it's that
Special
aspect
dopamine bullets.
I think it's the aspect of, like, if I fire a bouncing bullet and, like, I aim it so good that it's, like, bouncing around for ages and, like, not coming back down to the bottom of the screen, and, like, it feels like I should be, like, seeing firework effects start to intensify because, like, oh, combo, you, like, you fired that in a really good direction, and, like, you're getting some in-game feedback of, that's a really spectacular shot.
It needs more particles.
It just needs, I think, more feedback to go, hey, the game is as excited as you are that went well.
You're awesome!
It needs some sort of acknowledgement of, you did good, and we're acknowledging that.
More juice, as my Pico 8 instructor has been saying a lot.
Yeah, it's just missing that juice. Because mechanically, it's got all the ingredients to be that I did a really cool thing, and now I feel very powerful because, like, that was a really good shot I took. It's just, it's not doing the, I hit the final peg in Peggle and everything slowed down and it went in the big thing in the middle, and like, it's not doing that. This level is now memorable because we made it feel like a spectacle when you did good aspect. And it's just lacking a little of that.
More spectacles.
What about you? What else have you been playing?
I played through Arzette.
Yeah!
The Jewel of Faramore.
Yes, this based on the CDI Zelda games.
Yes.
It's a legally distinct final entry in that series.
Just about. It doesn't make Link look very good, but
I mean, it treats Link exactly how the CDI games treated him.
Kind of a dick.
Kind of a fool. A little buffoon.
A little buffoon fellow.
I'm just sort of here. Yeah.
I'm Dale, I'm here. Yeah. It certainly has that look of a CDI game, like the like painted background, like hand painted backgrounds, and the weird almost MS Paint, like Windows 3.1 MS Paint.
Yeah.
Cutscenes. They with all of the actors on different microphones, different qualities at different ranges, different levels of muffledness. Like, none of it's terrible audio, but you can tell it was done very specifically in a style of, imagine that none of these actors have ever been near the same equipment, even once.
Some of those voice actors are people I know have high-quality recording equipment that would never sound that bad unless it was deliberate. I think when we were talking about it yesterday, it's like, what if you told one person to turn their gain up and go to the other side of the room?
Yes.
And the other person to turn their gain way down and to put their mouth on the mic and shout? And it's like, it's trying to find the extremes of what a microphone sound could do.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a weirdly charming way. I mean, I certainly feel that, at least as someone who is familiar with the CDI games, even if I haven't like ever spent any serious time with them. The main thing I remember about the CDI games is that the painted backgrounds hadn't been like done in any way that considered like what the tile height was being used for the invisible tiles for like where is a platform, how high I jump, when do I fall off this thing, and this very much does a better job of that, while still retaining that like very painted background. The character sprites themselves look quite nice. I think my biggest gripe with it is the fact that you spend a lot of time going through the same levels over and over again. Especially if, I mean, maybe if I'd taken more notes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, yep, I know that I need to go back and do this and this thing, or there are purple blocks here. I will need to remember that once I get purple magic, I will come back and do purple things here. Which probably would have saved me a bit of time, but generally speaking, it's like, okay, I've got a new ability. If there are, like, red exclamation marks, I go and do those red exclamation mark places. If not, probably just go through the first few levels and find the things that have unlocked in those areas, because almost certainly something has unlocked in those areas. And then just trying to find the last few bits. Weirdly, like, there was stuff that I just seemed to bounce off of and just not find for the longest time. And then all of a sudden I went from like 43% completion to, oh, I found the thing, Because you were sat there with a walkthrough open at one point,
Yeah.
and I was just like, okay, I can't be asked for this thing anymore. Tell me where goes. Go to this place. And usually, as you were telling me, I was falling arse backwards into having found
I was
the
like,
thing
do
at
you have this item? I literally just got that item while you were looking it up. Oh, okay, you're on the precipice where everything's about to open up.
And it did. Like, I found that one item that I'd been struggling with for a while, and all of a sudden, like, okay, cool, I need to go here and do this, I know I need to go here and do this, I need to remember where this thing was, and go back and do that.
There is definitely there is, like, one item that really is, like, the dam opens once you have it.
Yeah, and it all sort of stems from this whole thing of, you're told that you can't go to certain levels, because there is, like, a miasma that sucks your health away. My biggest gripe with that is, there is a sign on the screen that will tell you, like, hey, it's not good to be here. But it kills you so fast, there isn't time to read that.
Yeah.
And I feel like what it needed was we're gonna pause, let you read the thing, and then as soon as you've closed it, the miasma is gonna hit, and you're gonna have to run out of the level as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't do that, so it was just like, I assume I died for something bad that someone who can read faster than me understood better than I do. But, and then there was the whole aspect of, like, I don't want to go to the final level, because then I will, I'll just be ending the game, and I still want to do, like, a bit of cleanup and stuff.
Yeah.
And there really is, like, a few things that you kind of need to grab in the final level, and either find a way to duck out, or finish the game, and then go back and finish the last few things.
Yeah.
Within, like, an hour of being at 43% going, there's a thing I need to find desperately. I was at 93%, was like, you know what, I think I've completed enough of this game.
Yeah.
Feeling happy with that. And for one afternoon session, I feel good about it. Also, I do kind of wish it had an extra difficulty level.
Yeah.
Because it's got, like, original CDI vibes, where you have one health bar and you have to get all the way through the level with it, and if you fail, start the whole thing again.
Yup.
Or you have health will randomly appear from enemies, and it's going to be quite a lot of health.
Yeah.
I feel like it needs, like, an intermediate level of health will appear, but not as much as in casual mode.
Yeah, makes sense.
Would have appreciated that. Might have felt more challenged by it in a good way. But also just an option to toggle those difficulty settings while in game, rather than having to just go, okay, lose all progress, quit, and I'll just start again on the other difficulty setting. But that's just a standard accessibility setting I'd like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Have you played anything else?
That's about it for me, I think. What about you?
I replayed Phantasmagoria.
Yeah?
The Sierra Online FMV game.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, after years of it not working terribly well in DOSBox, it now works in ScumVM, despite not being a Scum game.
Uh-huh.
God, that game is not good. And also, Adrian is, like, she's the least survivable final girl in anything. Like, the amount of ways she can just die. I also, like, don't really care for the way the game does not respect your time at all. Like, if you accidentally leave her, like, stood, she'll go into an idle animation that needs to play all the way through before you can start moving again. Mm-hmm. The number of things that are just like, oh, this is interactable. What's the interactable? Well, it's a mirror. So Adrian's going to walk up to it. She's going to check her hair. She's going to fuss around a bit. And then she's going to take a few seconds to go back to standing in a room. Also, this game commits a cardinal cinema sin, which I can never forgive it for. The number of times you walk out of a room on one side of the screen and walk in on the opposite side of the screen. Or even worse, there is one place where you walk up a flight of stairs and the camera angle at the top of the stairs shows you a wall on your right-hand side. And then once she's got to the top of the stairs and gone into, like, standard, like, standing around idling mode,
Yeah.
the screen flips the other way around.
Oh.
It's like, why didn't you just keep it in the direction it was at the top of the stairs in the Why? Why have you done this sin of filmmaking? Like, because it's not like you need to see the wall, the wall on that side, to make it make any real difference. It's just a door. You could have put it somewhere else. But yeah, that bit is unforgivable. I'm trying. I can't remember what year this came out. I suspect it was like 95 or 96. And I remember thinking it was brilliant because I was 16 or thereabouts, or 15 or 16, and I was like, it's so bad, it's so horrific, and it's so pixely, you can barely tell what the fuck's going on. And it didn't help that it was an 18-rated game that I had purchased with my own money from my first sort of summer job. And I was definitely not old enough to be playing it.
It is indeed 95.
95, so I was 15 when this came out. But I was a tall 15-year-old, so I got away with this shit. I remember it being the thing where if, like, family members came over for, like, Sunday lunch or something, if they had any interest in anything I ever did, I would scurry them up to my bedroom and make them watch Disc 5 of Phantasmagoria, where multiple people die in horrible ways.
Well,
yeah. So, yeah, that's who I was as a child. Deeply abandoned for horror. Yeah. So, I replayed it. It's not a good game. It's not got a great plot. Yeah, the actors are confusing. The fact that the game was like, we're gonna make the most of mirrors. We can use so many mirrors in this game because we'll just put the only real thing in the room is the mirror, and then we'll just blue screen everything else around it. Yeah, it's not good. But yeah, replayed Phantasmagoria. Now that I know that it works in Scum VM, I might play through Phantasmagoria 2, A Puzzle of Flesh at some point. Because I remember the main character in that being fucking wild. What about you? Have you played anything else?
That's about it for me.
Well then,
Time for this.
New from Supremacy Software. It's Guitar Hero Roguelike. You'll be playing a medley, and you never know what song will come next. Imagine Rock Band if the playlist was put together by DJ Cumberbund. Along the way, you'll collect custom picks, guitar bodies, necks, strings, and pickups, amps, and much, much more. That's Guitar Hero Roguelike from Supremacy Software. Hello?
Yes?
We've got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, have you reached an age where a certain age group of younger people look sort of nebulous, youth-aged?
Yeah, there's anything below, like, I'm gonna say 23, becomes this nebulous soup of, you could be 12, you could be 6, you could be 19, I don't know.
And you're like, I'm very glad I don't serve alcohol.
Yeah.
Because I could get in trouble at this point.
Right.
I mean, I would have to challenge, at least 23.
I would be asking a lot of people who are definitely over 18 for ID, and they'd be like, well, I'm over 18, but I can't tell.
No, but look at me, I'm very old, you see. The thing is, I can't tell anymore. I've reached an age where I can't tell how old
I look
any
at you
of
and I see younger than me. I see you being a young.
Yeah, I've also reached an age where occasionally I'll look at an 18-year-old and go, that's 18? What? That looks about 12.
That's the big one. Like 18 or 16 when like you're in a place where like, wristbands or something might identify ages.
Who let this child in?
I'm like, who let this child in this 18 plus establishment? Oh,
this person's old enough to vote. What?
Oh, yeah, okay. You're old enough to like pay taxes and make decisions about your life. You're a baby. Who let you do that?
Yeah.
I just don't know how to see ages.
Well, if you'd like to see ages, this week's sponsor is ageestimationspecs.lol.net.
Tell me more.
These glasses help provide an estimated age for those you meet, and it's powered by the foolproof tech behind government age estimation apps.
Oh no.
That's right. If you've got brightly coloured hair, they're probably not going to be able to age you correctly. If you've got a bit of a baby face, you're never going to be able to engage in conversation any further.
Oh no, that person has face tattoos. They no longer exist. They don't register as human.
No, it's like those like black and white weird patterns they do on the sides of naval ships.
I'll be honest, I'm having no better luck estimating ages now than I was without the glasses.
So that's ageestimationsspecs.lol.net. Enter the code Q&PS. How old? And you can get 15% off your first pair. They also do them with sunglasses. Ooh. So, what have you put in your eyes or ears?
What have I done? I can quickly touch on one that you watched previously, and I had to catch up with you on.
Yes.
I watched that movie Together.
Happy together.
That's a bloody good film.
It really is.
Bit of
a slow burn.
It's a slow burn, but I think it justifies it very well. I don't know the last time I saw a horrifying body horror film that was also such a genuinely sweet love story.
Yeah.
It's at the start of it, I was like, this couple is far too heterosexual for me to enjoy in a romance context. By the end of it, I was like, you know what? You have escaped the zone of me finding you too heterosexual to watch. You're no longer too cishet for me to watch. I can enjoy this now. I think some of the things that it sets up early get paid off beautifully in that finale.
Yeah, I kind of would be interested to watch it again to see how much I can go, oh my god, it was all there.
There's at least a few things that are very clearly there early on. But yeah, as an exploration of, like, resentment and attraction and a couple that is, like, clearly not talking about the fact that they're both deeply codependent and both very reliant on the other and not really having healthy conversations about, like, the shit they got going on. That, as an excuse for a bodies physically drawn together, whether you like it or not, horror story.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I think it was, on the whole, not as, like, squeamishly hard to watch as I anticipated.
No, I don't think it helps that the trailer shows a lot of clips from, like, the last 15 minutes of the film.
Maybe.
Where the body horror is getting quite a lot.
What I will say is, even, I think the thing that made it easier to watch for me is, even in the moments that I would say are, like, the most body horror is happening, there are conversations happening between the two people the body horror is happening to that diffuse a little of the tension. Because, like, I'm thinking the scene in the hallway at night where they're being pulled together.
Oh, right near the end.
That's a ways. It's a ways in. Like, that's, I would say, one of the places where the film gets more intense with the body stuff. But they're talking each other through it in a way that's, like, weirdly comforting.
I mean, there certainly are once she wakes up.
Yeah. But again, like, I think, like, the finale sequence itself...
Oh, it's fantastic.
I think a lot of the moments that, like, on paper would be the hardest to watch have that little element of the characters going through it to just take a little of the edge off of it.
Yeah. I think one of the quite unnerving scenes a little earlier on than that is the guy stayed up late on his computer, like, researching all the stuff.
Yes.
And she is hovering slightly behind the door with her face just pressed up against the slightly smoky glass.
Well, this is the thing, is I find the horror in this film way more unsettling when it's happening in a one-sided way.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, when they're going through it together, it's a lot easier to go through something hard if you are supporting each other through it, is kind of a big part of that film, I feel like. Yeah. Never expected body horror to be so sweet.
Right.
It's a very good film.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you watch?
I watched Weapons. You've also seen Weapons.
I've also seen Weapons. We've both seen Weapons. A film way more interesting than I expected it to be.
Yeah. It's It was an uncomfortable watch for reasons that don't necessarily involve the film.
Yeah, agreed.
And that, for me at least, largely involved the fact that the people sat behind me were some of the blokiest blokes I'd ever encountered.
Yeah.
And they were laughing at certain things that made me feel uncomfortable to be a 6'1" trans woman wearing a trans-pride vest
Yeah.
at like 9 o'clock at night on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but suffice to say, there aren't actually any trans characters in it, nor any reason to be particularly transphobic. But as is often the case in certain types of horror, the real scary thing is old people. Oh, look at you, you're rotting while you're still alive. Oh. Isn't that the most terrifying thing? Don't people look strange once they start to get a bit wrinkly? Fuck off.
So, this is a horror film that, like, the general conceit is there is a teacher and all but one of her students just vanish one night.
Yes.
And understandably, some people are a bit suspicious of her.
Yes.
It's very much the survivorship guilt thing of, why are all our children gone and why do you get to be here and okay?
Yes, and it opens with, like, a meeting the day before she is due to go back to work.
Yeah.
And parents getting very upset and demanding answers from her specifically.
Yeah, it's...
To the point where she feels like... Well, she has to be, like, squirreled out of the meeting by senior faculty, and is basically told the next day that she is not welcome to continue working there, at least for the moment, because of how heated things are with the parents.
Yeah. It's...
And she is then basically in this paranoid state of, I think some of the parents are out to get me.
Yeah.
Because they hold me personally responsible for this.
A lot of people who have nowhere to put their confusion and fear and anger and various other stages of grief, and so they're looking for any tangible person they can put that blame on.
Yes.
And initially it seems like that's what it's largely going to be, is a film about this person worried that she is going to face violence for being blamed for a thing she could not be in control of.
Yes, and interestingly it's done in chapters, and that first chapter is very specifically about her, that initial experience of the, like, the day after it happened and the weeks...
Very, very slow
leading back to school. And then we, like, just go, next character, we're going to move to a person we've already met in another scene, who is a parent of one of the children that went missing, who is basically falling apart. He's sleeping in his kid's bed, just, like, anything to stay close to the memories of his child. Like, rewatching footage on, like, the Ring doorbell monitor of, like, the moment the child left the house at 2:07 a.m.
Yeah.
Doing this weird, creepy, like a pose run into the night.
Yeah, it's, the structure of this film and how it will show certain events and then rewind a little and switch to the perspective of someone else you have seen.
Yes.
Maybe without much context, and move forward again, and then move back a little bit and swap to another character who you've now seen, and move forward. That sort of push and pull, very interesting.
Yes.
Like, that initial section where it's just about the teacher is, like, very slow burn, but it does a lot of setup to set up this, like, multiple threaded story.
Like, if they'd wanted to make individual bits of this longer, this could have been an anthology TV series.
Yeah,
told in, like, 5 parts.
You could have made this into a very interesting TV series, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mechanics of what is going on is very interesting. I think the degree to, like, how long they hold back what is the thing that this film is doing.
Yes.
And how quickly and dramatically they ramp up when that reveal happens. And the way that they explore the ramifications as soon as they reveal what is going on. It does really interesting character exploring groundwork to hit its finale very quickly.
Yes, because it's like 3 separate stories of things, like, quite dark things happening.
Yeah.
And some of them almost end on little cliffhangers. And then we have one story that starts off seemingly quite calm and then quickly turns into, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And then immediately the story after that is like the final reveal of everything. And gosh, a lot happens in that. And weirdly, once again, it was the perspective of a child going through like a very traumatic thing that bothered me more than most of the horror that was happening around it. And then the ending is just fucking batshit.
Yeah, it's a genuinely fascinating piece of filmmaking. If for nothing else, then like it's really well thought through, telling of a story that is going on in multiple overlapping places and setting up like a timeline of this narrative where everyone's stories can intersect in an interesting way. Like, someone had a very good sense of this world when putting it together.
I imagine someone had a big whiteboard with all the things connecting and the timelines going
I
on.
respect the ability to create a story like this.
Yeah, I think they did a great job. And, the one thing I will say is I kind of wish I'd been able to watch this without the thing in my head that I'd heard people on TikTok talking about, it's an irresponsible film and it's an analogy for, like, school shootings. And it just isn't.
I mean,
I can see the mood of
I would argue
people left behind.
As someone who is aware of the significance of, 217, I believe?
Yes. 207.
Is it 207?
I'm pretty sure it's, maybe it's 217.
I might be wrong. No, it's 217 because 17 students went missing, 2 people remained from the classroom, is one of the bits of significance that comes up. It pulls on 217 a lot, which, like, comes up a lot in stuff, I believe, around the Uvalde shooting. And watching it with that knowledge and how much it's hammering home that, and the moment where there is very clearly just a big gun in the sky, it's like, okay, you play it around in the space a bit. I think there is some degree of
red hair.
School not being somewhere that you can feel safe sending your children, and the aftermath of suddenly a classroom of kids just isn't here, and the trauma that leaves in a community. I think, like,
I can see that you can tie things like that to it, but I think my brain had been put in a very specific place that I spent a lot of the film just going, I'm waiting for a thing to happen. And then the thing did not at all happen.
That's fair. I didn't go in necessarily expecting to 100% be that, and I saw stuff that made that connection, but that's definitely not one-to-one what the film entirely is doing. What about you? You put anything else in your eyes?
That is about it for eye things.
Well, we watched a thing together. We watched the season finale of Game Changer.
Secret season finale.
Samalama Ding Dong.
Yeah.
The secret final episode of Game Changer, which, did something that I think a lot of people have for a long time wanted to see happen, which is
Sam gets his comeuppance.
Sam Reich gets tricked into being in a Game Changer unbeknownst to himself.
Yes, a change gamer.
Yes, hosted by Brennan Lee Mulligan, who has crafted essentially a escape room castle.
An entirely fair,
a merit-based success series of challenges.
Entirely possible to solve based on the information in front of you.
That rewards you for trying hard and doing your best.
Yeah.
And is clearly drawing a lot of inspiration from past bits of Game Changer material.
There are so many references.
There are. I'm very curious to see the behind the scenes on this. I enjoyed it deeply as an episode. I
spent a lot of time going, how did they manage to get this done without Sam?
Yeah, I'm curious how they funded this without Sam's knowledge. I'm curious about the fact that in that first room, there is a whole bunch of keys and locks that don't ever seem to get used, at least on screen. I'm curious if those were parts of puzzles that Sam somehow managed to sidestep doing.
Or if they just...
Were they red herrings?
Or maybe they just, cut it for time.
Yeah, I'm very curious, how much of that was intended to be engaged with or not. Very fun way to end the season.
Yeah.
The
second time.
The sequence where the name of the episode is decided might be my favourite bit of it. Was very good.
Yes.
It
was nice to see so many friendly faces as well.
It was indeed.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you watched this
We
couple
watched
weeks?
season 7, and we're partway through season 8 of New Who.
Oh, yes.
So we finished the Matt Smith seasons now.
Yeah.
We watched the 50th anniversary stuff.
Yeah.
And we're now like a third of the way through, or a quarter of the way through, Capaldi's first season. How are you finding it?
I very much enjoy Capaldi as an actor. And I'm already seeing why I get so annoyed actually watching the stories he's put in.
Yes.
I think he is fantastic at playing. I am adrift and confused and don't know much about my situation and am playing very well in that space. He is fantastic at very impassioned performances around being anti-war. I think he's really got those locked down. I think Clara is in some ways more manageable to have on screen with a doctor who will push back against her.
Yes. Or that just flat isn't interested in her a lot of the time.
Yeah, but also, the last one we watched was, I think, season 8, episode 4, that set up a really interesting conceit and made it clear canonically that the thing it was setting up was real, and then threw that out to do something completely different, like, just in a way that felt incredibly frustrating. It didn't feel like a smart twist. It felt like a
Haha, fuck you.
Haha, fuck you, it's not about that. It felt like the writer was more interested in there being a twist than in delivering on what people had become invested in through the episode.
Which is something Steph's been talking about recently with video games. Wasn't it? Something about, like, people mistake having a twist for good writing.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of perfectly captures that moment. And a few other moments in like, the last season and a half. But, yes, I feel the same way about Peter as I do about Jodie. I think they are both incredible actors, perfect choices for the Doctor. I just wish they had been better written, and I look forward to, I hope, in years to come, Big Finish picking them up and doing actually good stories with those Doctors.
Yeah.
Because they deserve it. They deserve so much better than they got. Also, I'm not a huge fan of Matt Smith's, like, later TARDIS. It feels so, like, stark, and it feels like an industrial kitchen, like a restaurant kitchen, as opposed to, like, we had the Christopher Eccleston had this real, like, biomechanical thing going on, and almost calling back to the Sylvester McCoy's TARDIS that was used in the 1996, like, the Millennium Special episodes, where we first got Paul McGann. This sort of beautiful wood-panelled TARDIS with lots of brass and clockwork, a real steampunk vibe to it. And then, like, moving from that to a sort of hodgepodge put-together biomechanical thing that Eccleston and early Tennant had, and then weirdly into this bizarre stainless steel thing that Matt Smith had, and at least Capaldi's one is starting to, like, feel a bit more settled, and I don't know, maybe mysterious, because it's a bit darker in there, and you've got kind of got some of the round things, not all of them. It's got, like, it's got a nicer vibe, but that weird stainless steel one at towards the end of Matt Smith's run, I really didn't like that TARDIS. What about you? Do you have any other thoughts on the Whomst?
No, mainly just, I still don't get on with Clara. No. I thought, the 50th anniversary stuff and the stuff around Gallifrey was pretty interesting. What's, John Hurt?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
I wish we got more of him in the TV show.
Indeed. There is a whole War Doctor series on Big Finish. I have some of those. There's also, after John Hurt died, they got another actor to do I think it's called the Early War Doctor series, where it's a person doing a young John Hurt voice as a even further back in time, way before the Doctor even got jaded of the whole thing and left Time Lord Society entirely. And some of that stuff's apparently really interesting, and I look forward to giving that a listen at some point.
The only other thing I think I was going to say was I do particularly watching this in such quick succession, seeing Capaldi introduced right after we experience the War Doctor.
Yes.
And then having Capaldi come in and be such an actively anti-war Doctor after what has just been shown to us,
yes,
I think is like a really good way to make that new character trait in this version of the Doctor feel really natural.
Yes.
It is one thing that I don't think I really appreciate the first time round, is how much they set that up, and how much I'm looking forward to some of the Capaldi There's at least a few Capaldi episodes I know are coming that really lean into that anti-war stuff that I'm genuinely excited about.
Yeah.
There is, I don't know when in Capaldi's run it is, but the one with two people sat with buttons in front of them, that is most of an episode of him just at a table trying to convince two people not to start a war, that I'm like, yeah, you clearly had a plan for bringing this Doctor in at this time, an older Doctor after the Doctor had been getting younger and younger with the actors playing him, a much more war-focused Doctor after addressing the war stuff. It's just a shame it's not consistent in how they capitalise on those bits. But yeah, I think that's everything I've watched this week.
Well then,
Time for this.
Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi. So, I've been trying to work out ways we can get more positive coverage of our games.
Right, yeah.
And we've been doing for a while this whole thing where we take the game and like what the game's going to be,
Yeah,
and then we like
chop it up into little pieces.
exactly
And sell it off.
sell parts of it as DLC.
DLC.
But the problem is, we send our review build, preview build to the game,
Yeah.
and people go, there's not as much in here as I would have hoped, and then when it becomes DLC, it's like, it sort of highlights, we chopped stuff out, and
Right. Yeah,
people go, I hope
yeah.
this were in the full game. It is, but it's DLC. What if we sort of lean into this?
Right.
What if we send out preview builds that have all of the DLC in there?
Right.
And we just don't say that that's what we've done.
Right.
So the people, the press, they play the preview build and they go,
They're wowed.
wow, this base game, the
There's so
game
much
that I will
content.
get on the shelf, has so much content.
Yeah.
It's such a content-rich experience you should purchase when it comes out.
Yeah.
And then, they find out it's DLC. And we never said it wasn't a preview build of the game plus DLC.
Right.
We never lied.
Yeah.
It was them making assumptions.
Yeah, maybe there's like a book somewhere they can find if they look behind a cupboard door or something, and in a really obscure part of a absolutely vast map that does fill them in, that this is various parts of this are DLC.
Yeah, did you not go looking closely enough to find that? That's on you.
Typical that reviewers don't play games properly.
Yeah, you didn't no-clip through that wall and find it inside a dev texture. What are you doing? Not playing properly?
Not playing properly.
Not giving the game a thorough
everyone
look.
knows reviewers can't play.
Yeah, they were just rushing
That is
through
a
it for
rumor
order.
we keep putting out there.
I know, it's absolutely great.
You are a fucking genius.
I know.
This is so sinister. A place I knew from my younger years, a place I remember well, and I see it in my restless dreams. But now it looks broken, bizarre, and almost liminal. I've seen figures moving in the fog, and they move strangely. At first I wondered if they were the same people who bullied me all those years ago, hiding in the mist. But as I got closer, they appeared to be scantily clad nurses with their heads bound in bloody bandages, carrying large knives, which wasn't scary, just weird. Then there was a siren, like an air raid siren, and the world went dark. It seems in the light of my phone flashlight that I was in the same place, but somehow more twisted, filled with barbed wire, chain link fences, and flesh hanging in tatters. I was worried that I'd see some manifestation of my guilt made flesh, a creature made of screaming faces and a giant bloody crafting shears. Instead, it was just a large creature with a sort of triangular-shaped metal headpiece, dressed in a bloody apron and dragging a giant knife. It was all a bit silly, really, so I just left feeling a bit baffled. I heard of strange things happening in that town, but I thought it was something personal to my own trauma, and not whatever this was. Silent Hill 6 coming this year from Konami! That's right, Pyramid Head is back!
Our business, making barely affordable nutrient sticks and AI-generated images of brightly coloured buffoons, has seen profits grow massively as we pivoted away from our old business model and into this much better modern era. For too long, we were beholden to ringmasters, trapeze artists, bakers, millers, lion tamers. Now we've trimmed the fat, as well as all of our employees. Our business is more profitable than ever been before.
Boss? There's an angry mob here.
What on earth do they want?
They don't seem to be aligning with our carbohydrate bar and AI clown vision for society.
Well, what do they want instead?
Actual bread and circuses.
Luddites.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors.
Special Justice Warriors?
Yeah.
Alright, Larry.
Alright, Barry, how you doing?
Oh, bearing up, mate. Enjoying the fact that the heat is starting to break. I had to put a hoodie on for a whole hour the other day.
Oh, goodness gracious. It's been a long summer when you're feeling like that, you know.
Yeah. You doing alright, mate?
Oh, doing alright. I was appreciating a thing.
Yeah.
I was appreciating a nice thing this week.
What's that?
I've got lots of people in my life, and this hasn't always been the case, but I've got lots of people who I'm able to trust well enough that if I ask, is something alright, and they say yes, I feel safe enough to just be able to trust them at their word, that there is no secret gotcha coming, that I'm not secretly going to get told I was supposed to intuit something else.
Nice.
And it's a thing I think about sometimes, because I know not all times in my life is that being a thing.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing for everyone.
Yeah, also, the difficulty of growing up as an autistic person, and people around you may be using subtext and hoping that you would understand things from context clues of, non-verbal communication clues that you just might completely not get.
Yeah, because I was thinking about this, because I met someone at the weekend who, I was out doing a social thing, and ended up meeting someone new who was absolutely lovely, and their partner was in hospital, and they were like, I might stay and do this social thing a little longer if, it's alright with them if I come see them in hospital a little later. And I had a moment where I had this moment of, you're a new person, and I had this distinct moment of, I hope that yours is a relationship where you get that thumbs up and you can trust that's okay, that means it's definitely okay, and that's
actually, I said it was okay, but actually I'm gonna, tweet about you being a terrible person within the next 10 minutes.
And, I don't know that person's partner, I have no reason to suspect that wouldn't be, they say what they mean. Yeah. And I realised it was I was appreciating in that moment because it was I was noticing a thing about myself, I appreciate that I'm in a place where I can rely on that, and it's a thing that if I could wish that upon everyone, that everyone could just rely on that kind of thing. I think it'd be a better world if we could all rely on that. It breeds security.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean, if more people just meant what they said, and rather than saying one thing and doing something entirely different.
If people could just be free of the trap of, is this okay? Yes, it's okay. Oh, it secretly wasn't, and you did it anyway, and now you've done it, so you can't undo that you did it. It's like, you just let me walk into a trap, are you?
Yeah.
That's not pleasant.
That doesn't seem healthy, no.
No.
Fancy young mate.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck, mate.
Good luck.
Right, I think I'll go and have a little lie down.
Oh, sounds lovely.
Oh, that's nice.
So, Laura,
Yes?
where people can find you upon the internet?
People can find me at Laura K. Buzz pretty much everywhere. Laura K. Buzz on Blue Sky, on TikTok, on Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills, on YouTube, on Twitch. Laura K. Buzz. Find me where all the stuff happens to be. I've got an AA episode going up about Hollow Knight Silksong and the accessibility information we can confirm and deconfirm without review codes going out for that game. There is a part 2 to my Bridge Command accessibility coverage up on YouTube. There will be, maybe on YouTube, maybe just on laurakbuzz.com, a written review of my experience of the Bridge Command campaign. Laura K. Buzz, you'll find all the stuff I'm doing. What about you? Where are you out on the internet?
Patreon.com/StonedMonkeyRadio, as little as $1 a month, helps this stuff keep happening. That's pretty much it for me. So, Laura, will you sing sad, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.